Hey guys, I'm here with John Schlitter in the new digs of Schlitter Bikes. How you doing, John?
I'm doing fine, Gary. Thank you.
We came to visit John and Jacquie here in Spring Hill, Florida, on our travels through the state, and real excited to tell you a little bit more about the new shop that we have here. So, John, let's start with where you were and how did and the story about getting here.
We had it.You Bikes down in Venice, a main drag location, big location, busier than heck. We dialed that back so we could focus on the time on the Schlitter Encore more to get that up and running in production. And then we had a long-term plan to be truly on a bike trail. And we wanted to be out there where we could go out the door and go ride and have our customers come up and have a riding experience that has no cars involved, and we'd be able to educate them, teach them how to ride a recumbent. We started doing business up here, it would have been a little over a year now. Back in January, right at the 1st of January last year, we moved up here into temporary headquarters. We moved everything up. We had a 40-foot container. We put everything in. We rented one of those big office mobile units that we set up shop in. And we had our RV that we lived in here. So we're here full time while we were building the new shop home combination. We had a compound in one corner. We have 2 Great Danes, so we kind of isolated them from the construction workers, and we functioned out of there totally. People would come out they have appointments, they'd come out to get a bike, and they would just look at us like we're crazy. You know, you guys, what? And then why did you come out here? And I go, well, you know, we're going to go out for a test ride. And he goes, yeah, where are we going to test ride? I go, well, we're just going to go right out the door here, huh? So we walk out, and we go through the gate, and we step out onto the Suncoast Trail, and they go, oh, I get it now. I totally understand why you're here.
The beautiful Suncoast Trail, which actually John and Jacquie and my wife and I rode today, is really something. And it goes, what was it, like 40-some miles in length now, John?
It's like 40-some miles. We're kind of almost in the middle. We got 22.5 miles to the north end, and basically about 19 miles to the south end.
So test rides, I mean, you will not have to be relegated to a parking lot where you can do little circles. If you come to check out a bike or a trike here, you're going to be able to ride as long as you want and really put the bike or the trike through its paces.
We understand that's your mission, is to put some time on the bike. We're fine with that. We've had couples come out and disappear for several hours, you know, and go through a couple rainstorms and come back. And how you guys say, oh, we had a blast, you know, that was great, and we want that one and this one. So
so now that one and this one, and bikes and trikes, can we be more specific? Tell me, what is it that you guys sell right now? What do you sell?
Right now we're primarily, for our trikes, we're a Catrike dealer, and, you know, good old made in America Catrikes, they're fantastic. And then we also have available, we can do Tridents, and then for 2-wheel recumbents, we have the full Bacchetta line. We can do that easily enough. And we're finishing up on our current Encore production. And then hopefully new things down the road will start popping up. We have some other things. We have another 2-wheeler in the wings waiting to come in, and hopefully we'll have some announcements here in a month or 2 on that.
Okay, John, so now we're in the shop here, and I want you to give us a little tour. Tell us about all of the exciting activity that happens. How does the magic happen, John?
You know, of course, we were doing the Schlitter Bikes, and we have all these hardware parts available to us. We have wheel sets of all types, sizes, and flavors. We have, you know, derailleurs and cranks. And so if you're wanting to get into a bike, let's say you want a Bacchetta CA 3.0, and their stock list does not meet to what you're into, and you know, we have the experience, we have many hours and thousands of miles with all the stuff that we put on our bikes. So, you know, if you say, oh, I want to go 11 speed, we can do that for you. We can do 11 speed. You know, if you need any kind of accessories, we can work with you and decide what's good and what your goals are, what's the purpose of your bike. You know, we'll work with you and make sure you have a fully functioning bicycle in the end.
What you offer, it seems to me, then is, I mean, anybody can build a bike, but you have the experience in recumbents for more years than anybody, John. So yeah, this is what you offer.
Hopefully we can cut out those extra steps that you would go through by doing it yourself. You know, I was talking to a fellow on the phone the other day, and he goes, "Wow, you saved me. I was going to do this, and that won't work." And I said, and by the time we got done off the phone, he was like, "That was fantastic." He was so happy that he called, and we worked through, and we got him set up with a frame kit and some ideas, and he now has his dream bike.
Right, and that's what it's about. So all the tools that you have here, this is very impressive. How long did it take you to accumulate all this stuff?
Oh, I started in the bike business back when I was a sophomore in high school. And by my junior year, we had taken over the shop. And I ran that until a couple of years after I graduated from high school. Then I decided I better go to college. So we sold off the building and all the stuff. And then I worked with my brother for...
Perhaps you've heard of Rand's Bikes, yeah.
Until '99, and then I opened up another shop back in Hays, Kansas. And so I had a fully functioning shop there for, shoot, that thing ran for like 13 years, and I was there for maybe 11 of the years. And then when we shut that down and pulled it, we had, of course, a bike shop or two, and parts, tools, equipment, and we pulled it down, and that's when we started the Veet label. And on that note, we started out under Veet, but we now are doing business as Schlitter Bikes under one umbrella. Gary's got a shot of this frame here going on. This is a very interesting little bike design. We were testing some concepts out, and she was nicknamed Anna after Anaconda because it's not your traditional stick bike. Had a couple bends in it, and it really works very nice. So you never know what's going to happen, is all I can say.
Just a hint, and we're not going to say any more about this.
You never know what can happen.
All right, folks, here's a little interesting tidbit. John and I had a little time after our ride today, and we have a friend in China by the name of Paul Gallagher. You guys might have watched a previous Laid-Back Bike Report where Paul showed you a product that he developed called XShifter. And so Paul had sent me one of these, asking me to try it out, and not being a particularly handy fellow myself, I thought I would wait till I got down here to talk to John, who is a particularly handy fella. And John installed it. So I wanted to show you guys the XShifter as installed. I haven't ridden it yet. We're going to do that tomorrow. And I want John to talk a little bit about what was involved with installing the thing for the first time. So
yeah, the XShifter was fairly simple to install. I mean, I had seen it, and it seemed like a really cool idea. So getting my hands on one at this very early stage was pretty exciting. I mean, the fact that it just has this simple little actuator, I guess you could call it, and he has a name for it. I can't see what it says. I don't have my glasses on.
I think it just says XShifter.
Yeah, but it's very simple. It still uses a little bit of cable and ball instead of having all the mechanism built into the derailleur like you see of the DI and the E-taps and all the other electronic shifting out there. So it's light, simple. You have a simple little controller, and it sets up reasonably fast. The app downloaded okay, did a couple updates, and it seems to be working pretty good, but I can still fine tune it, and I'm impressed. I would like to throw one on mine.
Okay, yeah, maybe we can get Paul to send one to John, and he can try it on some of the other bikes that you see behind us here too. And very early stages here, folks, for recumbents. I think you're going to need two of these actuators, one for the rear derailleur, John, right, and for the front. And he doesn't have that ready yet. I think it's going to be a few more weeks before it's all ready to go.
At that point, you know, with all the one-by systems they got out now, like the SRAM Eagle and everything, this would be all you need, right. One little shifter.
And this, I'm not going to quote the price here, but it is substantially less expensive than those other products, maybe a third of the price.
And so, you can use your existing Grupo. If you have Campanella, you have SRAM, you have Shimano, this will integrate with it.
Yeah, yeah. So worthwhile looking into, folks. Keep tuned, and I think we'll tell you a little bit more about XShifter. But so far, kind of interesting and impressive. Okay, John, so let's talk about the process of buying a bike from Schlitter Bikes now.
when a person contacts us, we'll say, they'll express an interest, and then we clarify, what are you interested in? And then we start getting into details, how tall you are. Like, that's always my first question, how tall are they? So I got an idea where we're going, what kind of bike that might work for them the best. And then we say, what are your goals? What are you wanting to do with this bike? What kind of riding do you want to do? What kind of riding experience are you coming from? So at that point, we set up an appointment because we've already invested time with the customer, and we want to make sure we're going to provide to them what they want to get into. So then we set up an appointment. Then they come down, they find us finally out here in the boondocks, out here by Spring Hill. And once they get here, we try to make it as comfortable. If they bring their wife, they can sit around here and on the recliners, or we got places outside they can.
John, these are comfy right here. So then if it goes long, you can take a nap.
So once we have the customer, we have the frame nailed down. What we're going to do for them. We'd love to have the opportunity for them to come in. Of course, we do business all over the country, and I never meet customers, but I get to know them pretty good on the phone. But then we'll ship them the bike out basically where it's ready to ride. And our current shipping method is all they have to do is install the wheels and maybe raise if they're using the J bars on their bike, they just fold them back up and set them. And then they can go ride the bike. But if they're making the trip down, we put them up on the trainer, we dial them in, we fit them perfectly. And if they want to, we will go out and ride the trail with them and do a shakedown. And once they've done the shakedown 2 or 3 times, I had a customer come down from North Carolina here a couple weekends ago, and he spent a couple days in the area. We rode with him several times, and everything okay? Yeah, it's perfect. Everything's. Are you sure? We kept going back and forth. And he went home, everything was great.
We appreciate, John, so much, you and Jacquie, offering your hospitality to us this week and showing us what goes on here at Schlitter Bikes, which is just phenomenal. So we appreciate you sharing your story with us, and we hope you all will take the opportunity to, if you're in the area, or even if you're thinking of buying a recumbent bike and you're not in the area, give John and Jacquie a call. ShlitterBikes.com. We'll put that in the description below so you guys will know and we'll put the phone number in as well. And get a hold of them and buy yourself a nice recumbent bike or trike.